CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Havana calling. CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to... DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hola, amigos radio aficionados. Season's greetings to you all from sunny La Habana, Cuba. And here's now our first and really significant news item. Please pay attention to what follows. If confirmed, this will surely be the most relevant information about the sun at the end of the year 2016. And I quote, 1B2-7 solar flare peaking at 14 hours 19 UTC on the 21st day of December 2016, coming from active sunspot region AR2620 that probably belongs to the new solar cycle 25 due to its high latitude position and reverse polarity. Yes, you heard it right. Something to be confirmed as soon as we can see more high latitude and reverse polarity sunspots. Cycle 25 seems to have already started. Now, item 2. In Cuba, we are enjoying gorgeous weather conditions at the end of the year. Ideal for sailboats because the winds are blowing nicely all along the north coast of Cuba. By the way, ocean-going sailboats masters are among the happy users of amateur shortwave bands communications. It's a nice way of spending spare time while sailing, and at the same time, a ham radio transceiver, HF transceiver aboard, is a very effective emergency communications capability, always available with thousands of hams around the world listening on some specific frequencies, especially on the 20 meters band. I am Arnaldo, Arnie Coro, radio amateur CO2KK, ham radio operator since 1959, and also a fan of sailing. I love sailboats. Asked recently by an ocean-going sailboat captain what would be a good antenna for his 100 watts power multi-band high-frequency rig, I advised him to follow the shipyard's master advice and install a back-style antenna from the top of the mast and connect it as an automatic antenna tuner configuration. That would be his main antenna for his ham radio rig. But for just in case one may lose the mast during an extreme weather event, something that has happened more than once, then carry a compact 20 and 40 meters band vertical antenna. The big ocean-going sailboats carry the now mandatory global emergency communication systems equipment that sends signals to satellites forming part of the SARSAT COSPAR network, soon also to be joined by the Galileo European Global Positioning System satellites. Added redundancy for emergency communications afforded by an amateur radio transceiver requires taking a test and opting for a ham radio station's license for it, something that in my opinion is really a worthwhile investment and will open a nice new world to sailboat fans. Now, item 2, AM, all-time radio, ancient modulation, as some people call it, is making a comeback on the lower frequency amateur bands. You can find old-timers and even some younger operators on segments of 160, 80, 40, and 20 meters, usually running high-power rigs on AM, including in some instances modified, retired high-power rigs found in the AM broadcast usage transmitters marketplace. The typical conversion changes the AM broadcast transmitter, typical 250, 500, or 1,000 watts rig, control, crystal control. Then it's changed from the 540 to 1,700 kilohertz, the frequency span, to a rig capable of operating on a small segment of the 160, 80, 40, and 20 meters band. You have to modify the radio frequency chain. The modifications are usually done for single band use, and you will hear many of those ex-broadcast stations workhorses on 160 and 80 meters, also on 40, because it is much easier to do the required RF deck modification, as in contrast to modifying for 20 meters. Among the most popular AM broadcast band transmitters that are modified for ham radio use are such gems of the broadcast industry of yesteryears as the Collins Radio 1 kilowatt rigs using 4-400 tetrobe tubes, 2 for the radio frequency module and 2 for the modulators. or the more classic RCA transmitters running the old 833A triodes on a similar 2 for radio frequency and 2 as high-level plate modulators. Those are classics. The advent of super energy efficient solid-state AM broadcast band transmitters has accelerated the retirement of still in very good shape vacuum tube transmitters that will provide many more years of service on the amateur bands. Of course, then you will need a special power utility connection and be prepared for a really expensive monthly electricity bill. But for AM radio enthusiasts, that is something they assume happily. Try listening at night in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean to the 80 meters band from 3,850 kilohertz up to the top end of the band. Start on 3850 and move toward the top. You can also find scanning the 160 meter band for the AM enthusiasts. AM, amplitude modulation. Item 3 of this last program of DXers Unlimited of this year 2016, coming up in a few seconds. I'll be back after a station ID. Amigos, next Sunday, the first day of 2017, DXers Unlimited Weekend Edition will be on the air, as always, just after the top of the hour newscast, and I invite you to tune in. Now here's item 3 of today's program. A rarely opportunity of doing a review of a new shortwave capable portable radio. That's something rare for me. But a few days ago, a long-time listener visited Cuba and brought with him a C-Crane Skywave miniature portable radio that is capable of tuning to the AM and FM broadcast band, the U.S. Weather Service channels, shortwave bands, and also the air band spanning from 118 to 136 megahertz. I was able to borrow the C-Crane Skywave for a few days and was really amazed by some of its features, including that it requires just 2 AA batteries to operate. The C-Crane Skywave can be powered by a pair of standard nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries that can be recharged by connecting the radio to a USB port or a USB charger. It does require a special cable with a mini USB connector that goes from the radio to the standard USB charger or computer port. As regards to the performance observed of the very small receiver, here are some of my notes. Starting with the AM medium wave broadcast band, I must say that the designers did what can be described as a really outstanding job. Considering the very small size of the ferrite rod antenna, the receiver provides excellent sensitivity, but it does not feature an external antenna connection or a radio frequency sensitivity control, no gain control for radio frequency. Although it has a very useful 5 positions audio bandwidth control that helps when DXing. There are several ways of tuning the C-Crane Skywave: direct knob tuning at 2 different rates of speed, keypad tuning, and also accessing the memory bank. I will need a few more days to complete my evaluation of this small portable, and when completed, of course, I will share them with you here at DXers Unlimited. But before moving to the next topic, let me add that something that I really miss from this radio is the lack of a beat frequency oscillator for single sideband CW and digital mode reception, as well as the availability of a slower tuning rate, less than 1 kilohertz per revolution of the knob. Monday, early afternoon, when I was writing the script of this program, a quick check about solar activity brought a very interesting result. 31 days of this year 2016 have gone by without a single sunspot in sight. Blank sun, 31 days. Yes, you heard it right. The sun has been spotless for a full month, and according to forecast, 2017 will bring many more days with very low solar activity as the present solar cycle continues moving down until we reach solar minimum sometime between the second half of 2019 and early 2020, according to a long-range forecast. And now, at the end of the program, here is Arnie Coro's high-frequency Brazil band VHF propagation update and forecast for you. We are now well into a period of extremely low solar activity, and here is now a repeat of the news item at the beginning of the program, that if confirmed will be the most relevant information about the sun at the end of the year 2016. And I quote, one B2.7 solar flare peaking at 14 hours 19 UTC on the 21st day of December 2016, coming from active sunspot region AR2620, probably belongs to the next solar cycle 25 due to its high latitude position and reverse magnetic polarity. So now, from now on, we must keep a close watch of any new sunspots at high solar latitudes and also reverse polarity. Send your signal reports and comments to info.rhc@enet.cu or via airmail to Arnie Coro, Radio Havana Cuba, Havana Cuba. And a Happy New Year to you all, mis amigos, listeners of DXers Unlimited.
And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
Thanks, Arnie.